My name is Rachel England. I'm the full-time Assistant District Attorney in the 17th Judicial Circuit, which means I'm the only full-time ADA in the office, and I service Greene, Marengo, and Sumter County alongside the DA Greg Rickers. And I am from Demopolis, Alabama, the big city, which is in Marengo County. So I've worked here for the past 12 years at the DA's office. I actually started here in high school. The DA's office is really good about hiring local kids from the circuit to work and make a little bit of money. Yeah. And I was making coffee, answering the phone. I'd never made a pot of coffee before, so the first one tasted probably like gasoline, is what I may or may not have been told by some people. And I got to know the DA, Greg, a little bit more, and he started letting me assist on cases and trial preparations. And my responsibilities just continue to grow. I started consulting on capital murder cases and making some presentations for that. We impeached a sheriff in Sumter County some years back, and I helped make the presentation that was part of that process. And it just continued to grow from there. I was pre-med, but then I changed to pre-law because I was just so smitten. Yeah. If that's the right word for it, just we like to say you're bitten by the bug, the criminal law bug. And so I was just taken with it, and I went to law school.
Where'd you go to law school at?
I went to law school at the University of Alabama. Big Alabama fan, so I put in seven football seasons consecutively there, and loved every minute of it. And miss it to this day. And I passed the bar. He swore me in my third year of law school, and that's when I started prosecuting.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me about Demopolis. Like, what was it like? If nobody's ever been here, maybe what makes it special, or what do you like about it?
Demopolis is the city of the people. It has French roots. It's an interesting place to live. It's, I don't know, probably 7,000 to 8,000 people here now. I haven't checked in a while. But it's got a small town feel to it. I went to the public school system here. There is a certain character you develop when you go to a public system, public school system in rural Alabama. So I went away for some time, but then when I came back, because it's such a close-knit community, I can't go anywhere without knowing somebody. In Tuscaloosa, you could go to the store, like the grocery store, and not see anybody you knew, but coming back home, even after 7 years of being away, because it's got that small town feel, we all know each other and greet each other and look after each other. That's another important part of it. Knowing people, they will, keep an eye on your house, or if something looks off, check in on you, or help take care of you. So it's, I think there are pros and cons to small town living. I think there are more pros than there are cons, and that's the community. A lot of the time we work here, if we're not in court, we're spent answering phone calls, trying to help people, trying to work with law enforcement, trying to work with people in the court system, just to help people who have problems. Some of it's in our purview, some of it not so much so. So that mentality kind of carries over into this. People know they can call here if they need help, and that we will help them if we can, and if not, we'll get them to whoever can help them. So that's just more of that pro, I guess. We all help each other out.
Cool.
Also have to be able to stand in front of a judge and make arguments about heartbreaking things. So. But we do have a resource here. A lot of us have cared a lot about this community and have wanted to sort of make the process a little less traumatic for children who are victims of crime or witnesses to crime. And so we do have the Black Belt Regional Child Advocacy Center, which is just down the street from us here in downtown Demopolis. And they assist us they have a forensic interviewer who is the director, Crystal Crawford. And she will interview the children in a very warm, safe, comfortable environment. It's recorded. That way they don't have to sit down and tell this story to 5 other people, or like a little girl doesn't have to talk to a grown man about being sexually abused. Or be in a police station with police officers. It's more comfortable. They typically only have to speak to it once during the investigation process. And they get something they qualify for when they complete an interview as free counseling.
Okay.
So it's definitely a resource to the community because it services Green, Marengo, and Sumter.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, I recently just heard about it. I think it was back during the spring when y'all were doing the Dog Street stuff, and I was like, wow, okay, this sounds amazing. Is there any way other people can maybe help, or do y'all have any needs, or if people wanted to get involved or anything like that?
Yeah, so we are always open arms to help, even if it's just getting the word out about what the CAC is.
Yeah.
You can always make donations to the CAC. They operate as a nonprofit. They operate on grants essentially. So they'll feed the kids and try to give them things that they need, clothes or whatever. So of course stuff like that costs money, or just the running of the center costs money.
Yeah.
So any donations that can be made to the CAC, they can be found online. They're super easy to find. And just getting the word out about what the CAC is and what the CAC does, because a lot of people, it is something that's kind of sort of new to the area, so a lot of people don't know that they can use the CAC, even those who work in this field. Mm-hmm. So getting the word out helps for those purposes and for getting donations. It's definitely, or if someone had an idea for a fundraiser or wanted to facilitate a fundraiser. I mean, it is definitely, it services the community, and I think the community makes sure that we try to help them exist and succeed. Yeah. So team effort.
About like some of the hard parts of the job. Obviously, it's wonderful to help people, maybe, but what's maybe something that's kind of challenging for you sometimes when it comes to the work you do?
I think, and it's a very obvious one, but the subject matter of what we do is difficult. You can become desensitized to working murder cases and seeing different things, but I think the one thing that I at least try not to become desensitized to and haven't is the humanity element of it. So like for murder cases, for example, your victim is deceased, so you're kind of speaking for them. They're robbed of their voice, so you step in to speak for them. But you're also working with their family, and a lot of the times that is a heartbroken mother who's had her child taken from her. And so it's heavy stuff, and you're helping people through very heavy experiences. And there's an unfortunate association with that. That's who you are to these people. Like anytime I've helped, like especially younger victims who've been sexually assaulted or abused or whatever, they associate you with that experience to an extent. Yeah. So that part's kind of sad because you get to know them and befriend them and care about them, but you are forever the person who helped them with their rape case or whatever, or when their child was killed. Yeah. So that part of it is tough, helping people through just tragedy. Yeah. And then every once in a while you get something that the subject matter is so tragic that you struggle with sitting with it, essentially. Like we have a case, a lot of people have talked about it some, an abuse case out of our local daycare center here.
I heard about that.
And so you see some things that are just awful. I mean, there's no other word for it. And so I know like the officers who are working it and the people who have to see it just struggle with that because it's just a really bad thing to see. Yeah. So in a nutshell, I think probably the subject matter and helping people deal with tragedy is the hardest part. And it chips away, or at least for me, it chips away at you, especially when you have child deaths. Yeah. I feel like each one, you never forget their name or their face, or just you can't help but think about, were they scared, just worrying about them, wanting to help them. So it chips away at you a little bit over time, but it takes a certain type of person to be able to do the work. And I think certain people are made to do the work, and that's why we do it and hopefully succeed in doing it.
Anything you would maybe say to students or young people in the Black Belt who are considering a career in law or just maybe social services or anything like that?
So anyone who is interested in law, and especially criminal law, can come see us here because we hire students here, and we always need help with interns, and it's just such a heavy caseload for there to only be 2 full-time lawyers, the DA and myself, and 1 part-time for each county. The caseload is just, it's a lot. So any kid who's interested could reach out to us. We could help them, you know, even if it's just observing court. You know, we always have an open door for those purposes, and we want them to see it and take an interest in it so they can come back like I did and work with us.
Perfect.
You know, to better the community here.
That's right.
And then for another thing for kids with those aspirations is stick to it. It's hard sometimes coming from smaller rural areas to feel like you're on an even playing field with the kids who are you're competing against to get into these programs and schools. But just work hard, build your resume, make sure you have a good GPA, don't give up, don't sell yourself short. Whatever your goal is, work to that goal, find people who will help you. Like I said, we all help each other.
That's right.
You know, we're a small community, but we know some pretty big people in the surrounding areas. So I would say get involved locally and work hard and don't sell yourself short and go after that dream because you can absolutely do it. For people who are, you know, young and in school and going to school, it's okay to not know what you want to do, and it's okay to change your mind because I did. I was pre-med until, like I said, I started working here 12 years ago. And, you know, it was something that I felt, I have always said that this work is not a job, it's a calling. Because I felt called to do this work. I'm a religious person. That's obviously a big thing that I share in with people who live in this community, and a lot of the people that I deal with as victims or families of victims, we talk about our faith and it helps them trust me. And it just helps everybody processing, you know, trauma and grief and stuff. But it's okay to not know what you want to do, and it's okay to change your mind, because I was biology, I was pre-med for 2 years, and then, you know, I was bitten by the bug and I felt a calling to do this work, and so I changed my mind. So when you leave a small place like rural Alabama and you go off, even if it's to UWA, which is a big university, a lot of people from all over, you know, the world coming to study there. It's okay to take some time and find yourself, because it's easy to kind of get trapped in one mindset living here, and so going off is an opportunity to find yourself and find what you like and what you don't like and what you want to do. And it's okay for it to be a process and for you to change your mind. So be patient with yourself and trust in yourself and trust your gut about what you want to do. And eventually you'll find it, and hopefully it'll be something you're excited to do for the rest of your life, because I know that I am. I'm so happy to have moved back and to come back and to help people here, to get justice for people here. Because it's a burden, you know, when things go wrong, when the murders happen, when the child abuse cases happen, all that, you know, we accept responsibility for making it right as the prosecuting attorneys. And so it's a scary thing, but it's a good thing. And I'm happy to come back and do that for the people who made me who I am today. I wouldn't be where I am without the community who helped get me here. So I'm happy to come back, and I didn't know this is exactly where I was going to end up, and it's okay to not know that, but when you figure it out, it's a good thing. And I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be here helping people.